With the People's Democratic Party National Executive Committee meeting slated for November 28th, there are strong indications that the acting national chairman, Ambassador Umar Damagum, may retain his position until the next national convention. Now, the date for which is yet to be determined by the party stakeholders. Meanwhile, the PDP State Chairmen from across the 36 states have dismissed claims from a crisis within the party, describing them as mere speculations and fabrications by detractors. Now, joining me on the program this evening to discuss this issue is Diran Odeyemi. Now, Diran Odeyemi is the former Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party. He joins virtually from Abuja. I also have Dr. Austin Maho, is a public affairs analyst whose location also is Abuja. He joins virtually. And Enantomhen Andrew is also a public affairs analyst. Gentlemen, thank you for your time on the program. All right, let me start off with you. Mr. Diran Fayemi. Now, we are seeing a lot happening within the People's Democratic Party at the moment. For many, they feel that this is a crisis, but you know, many within the party are saying, you know what, the party is still very much united. My question to you, Diran Odeyemi, is do you think, looking at what we're seeing, being, of course, a member of the party also, that is there a crisis within the PDP?
Except if we want to deceive ourselves, that we'll be using another acronym for that. We are in deep mess, we are in crisis. And the unfortunate thing is there is no solution in sight.
Wow. I'm sorry, you said that I'm sorry, I want to pick your words. You said deep mess, crisis, no solution in sight. That's a hopeless situation you're painting.
You see, why I said this is because I've said this several times, and I often say it, that the crisis centers on two big leaders of the party. That is the presidential candidate of the party, Atiku Abubakar, and Governor Nyesom Wike. It centers around the two of them. You either be on Wike's camp or on Atiku's side. And with this party will not take us anywhere until we are able to devise a means through which to either settle the two of them or ask the two of them to leave the party. But the unfortunate thing again is the two of them are the pillars of the party. This is why I said it is very, very difficult. And I've said this severally. Wike said it recently, that in as much as Atiku continues to present himself as the presidential candidate, it will continue to antagonize him. And where two elephants fight, it is the grass and the trees that suffers it. And that is why I am saying that it's a crisis. The solution is not in sight. Now, Ayu is just by the way. Tubara is just by the way. Regarding the replacement of Ayu, even the North Central, which is to produce a replacement of Ayu, they have not met to present an acceptable candidate. And there cannot be vacuum in PDP. The wise thing to do now is, since we are going to have our election in November 2025, it will be very wise to just allow this mess to play on, and by the time we have our election in 2025, let us now elect constitutionally somebody that we know will reorganize the party. And by that time, we should be able to find solution to the combination of Wike and Atiku. Without that, we will continue to go around the circle without any solution.
You, of course, have painted a very grim situation here, saying that there's a crisis and it appears no solution in sight. Let me bring in Austin, Dr. Austin Maho, into the conversation. Dr. Austin, I mean, you've heard what Diran said. I would like to ask you, what exactly is your take on the matter?
I think for the People's Democratic Party, I think there is no, I was smiling when Honorable Diran said there are crises in PDP. As far as we're concerned in PDP, there's no crisis in PDP. PDP have one of the best internal crisis resolution mechanism in the whole of Sub-Saharan Africa across all political parties. That's one beautiful thing about the party. PDP have National Working Committee, we have the BOT. Of course, he was a member of the National Working Committee, so he knows all the organs of the party. So saying there's a crisis in PDP, as far as we're concerned, there's no crisis in PDP. It's just a normal thing that happens in political party that you see once in a while there are misunderstanding, which definitely will be resolved before the next convention. And I know that the party organs, the party leadership at various levels are putting heads together to ensure that, look, if there are minor crises, there are people, if there are misunderstanding across board, it will definitely be put in place. So there is no issues in PDP that cannot be resolved. So as we stand right now, PDP is peaceful, PDP is sailing well. Of course, you know, we just finished our congresses and most of the congresses are still ongoing. So if there's crisis in the PDP, how are we going to conduct congresses?
All right,
so we don't have crisis in PDP.
I'm sorry to, of course, interrupt you. I understand that we really need to go on a commercial break. Of course, when we come back, you will definitely pick up. Do stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. This, of course, is still Politics HQ on News Central Television. And, of course, tonight we are discussing the leadership crisis within the People's Democratic Party. I still have my guest with me. Diran Odeyemi is a former Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party who joins virtually from Abuja. I also have Dr. Austin Maho, is a public affairs analyst who also joins virtually from Abuja, and Enantomhen Andrew is a public affairs analyst also from Abuja, joining virtually. Gentlemen, thank you for your time. Now, before we went on that break, you were trying to actually establish a point, Andrew. You were saying that there is no crisis leadership crisis within the People's Democratic Party. You were saying that the party is as bonded as ever, and that whatever is going on is just temporary. I would like you to furthermore establish that before I move on.
Absolutely. You can understand that, look, our People's Democratic Party is one political party that if every other political party passes experience what People's Democratic Party experiences, those parties would have gone into extinction by now. But because of the kind of internal mechanism as regards conflict resolution that People's Democratic Party have, you will see that no matter the kind of crisis or breeze that blow through PDP, they always come out stronger.
But do you agree that the party is factionalized? That
no, the party is not factionalized.
I'm sorry.
No, it's not.
So what do you make of the assertion that there's a Wike faction and there's an Atiku faction? Are you saying that doesn't exist within your party?
There is no Wike faction in PDP. There is no Atiku faction in PDP. They are all members of the PDP and they are high-ranking profile members of the Democratic Party.
Including Minister Wike, who is a minister of the opposition party, the ruling party in the country.
Wike is serving Nigeria. It's not serving APC. He's just trying to give his own best to serve the interests of the country. Nobody. What Wike is doing in Abuja today? Aren't you falling in love with it?
So you are saying that? Are you saying according to? That's not anti-party in any way. Is that what you're saying?
Wike is not a member of APC. Rather, Wike is working for the interests of the citizens of Nigeria. What Wike is doing in Abuja today, he goes to show that, look, PDP produce quality people. Wike is the first minister in Abuja that is doing this that is bringing this kind of development to the people of FCT. Everybody in Abuja is talking about FCT today, FCT minister today, because PDP produce a caliber of personality in Wike. It's only PDP that can produce people who are a personality who have quality things to offer. Okay. Look at what he's doing in Abuja. Look at development everywhere. Look at infrastructure everywhere, because he's a product of PDP.
Andrew, we'll still come back to the issue of Wike, but permit me to leave you for a moment to bring in Dr. Austin Maho into the conversation. What do you make with what is going on within the leadership in the People's Democratic Party? Dr. Austin, please kindly unmute your device. Okay, good. We can hear you now. Please go ahead.
Okay. All right, fine. All right, what I'm trying to say is that, look, to say that there's no crisis in the PDP is to bury your head in the sand like an ostrich and pretend that all is well. Of course, there's crisis in the PDP. Today, as we speak, PDP has three tendencies. One of the tendencies is built around the person of the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike. Two, you have another tendency built around the former Vice President and presidential candidate of the PDP in the 2023 election. And three, Bala Mohammed, the governor of Bauchi State, who is equally I think the chairman of PDP Governors Forum. These are the three principal factions, or the centrifugal and centripetal forces that are trying to exert influence within the PDP. And each of them have either their own grievances or their ambition or their own acts to grind with the PDP. And these forces, as of today, are not reconcilable. And they are so powerful that as a result of these three factions within the PDP is not finding it easy. The PDP is not at ease with itself. And the PDP has found it very difficult to be able to play its role as an effective opposition to the ruling party, which invariably is affecting our democracy. Because a healthy democracy needs an effective opposition. And where that is lacking, you have the kind of situation we have now, whereby it seems as if Nigeria as a country is drifting into totalitarianism, whereby the APC, whatever they are doing as the government in power, they seem to get away with it.
But looking at this
so
faction,
the point is that, look, there is crisis in the PDP. The hierarchy of the PDP, they need to accept that there's crisis within the party, and they need to put their heads together and address those crises. Look at all the tendencies within the PDP and reach an amicable settlement in order for us to have an effective opposition.
I mean, talking about being an effective opposition and looking at the faction within the party, I'm still staying with you, Dr. Austin Maho. Would you say that what is going on, from your analysis, is a reflection of the pursuit of collective good or private interests at play?
Yeah, it's obviously private. To me, what I see is that it is obviously private interest. Or rather, if you look at, there are those fighting for the heart and soul of the PDP. It's not for the general good of Nigerians. It's because they want to use the PDP as a vehicle to pursue personal ambition. And there are people who are angry, like the minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, who have complained that he has been serially betrayed within the party hierarchy, irrespective of the fact that he has been a major contributor and financier, one of the biggest, rock within the fold of the PDP. He has supported people. He feels a sense of betrayal, and it's that sense of betrayal that is propelling most of his actions. And it is that, many of the leaders of the PDP, within these three camps I just spoke about, you find out that they say one thing today, tomorrow they recant, they say another thing. I remember, for instance, that the governor of Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed, was one of those who said, for instance, that the chairman of the PDP, that's Umar, Damagum, should remain in office and run out the term of Senator Ayucha Ayu. All of a sudden, he made a 360-degree turnaround to say no. His tenure has to be cut short. They have to look for somebody within micro-zoning and within the same zone that Ayu was from, this North Central, to replace him. So these are some of the tendencies. And many people who saw that change, immediate change in his initial position, feel it's because of his own personal ambition for 2027. He's only preparing the ground to have somebody of his liking or somebody of his choice to become the chairman of the PDP, in order to be able to clinch the presidential ticket of the PDP in 2027. So that's the allegation against him, right or wrong. But at the end of the day, to address your question squarely, PDP is factionalized as a result of the personal ambition of the major gladiators within the party. Not the popular interest, not the party's interest.
I mean, those are pretty weighty. Let me leave you for a moment and let me come back to Mr. Diran or Odeyemi on this one. Now, Diran, of course, you had some of the things Andrew said. He actually did counter you. He said that that the PDP is rock solid, united, and it's not factionalized. But I would like your reaction to that. That whatever you see going on right now is what you would call party evolution. It happens across political parties. It's not peculiar to the PDP.
Austin Maho, he said it exactly the way it should be said. And I share his opinion in total. And I can understand my other brother who is trying to say there's no crisis in PDP. Perhaps what he's trying to do is not to wash our dirty linen in the public. Whereas we are already in the public. The public are aware of what is going on within PDP. There's nothing to hide. But maybe because of the journalism in me, I will not play politics on here, and I will not deceive myself and deceive Nigerians or listeners that there's no crisis in PDP. If you want to look at it, if you are saying there's no crisis, just last week, Nyesom Wike still released a statement that Atiku should forget about presidential ambition. And Atiku has responded that he is not God that can stop him from contesting. What do you call that? As we are talking now, we cannot have the National Executive Council meeting because of court injunctions here and there. According to our constitution, of course, the chairman of the party is supposed to come from the North Central. Where is the candidate in the North Central? Of course, the governor in Plateau are with Wike. And because of that, he has not endorsed any candidate from that zone to even be presented to the party. And there cannot be vacuum. So whether you like it or not, Ayu is still there. And Bala is saying Ayu should go. Are all these not indices of crisis? So what are we saying? And that's why I said I align myself with what Dr. Maho has said, that there is crisis. We don't need to hide anything from it.
But let's also talk about the influence. Let's talk about the influence of the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, in the party.
Yes. Wike is aggrieved. No doubt about it. He's aggrieved because here is somebody that has nurtured the party to an enviable position for it to become a beautiful pride in the eye of Nigerians. That is, whoever emerges from PDP was likely to be elected as the president.
But don't
he was presenting himself.
But don't you also think he has a point, saying that the person of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar should not run, given the fact that we know that he has run for the same position in the party, and many party members even say he is responsible for why the party has not been able to sort of maintain that top position, even clinch the top job in the country. Maybe it's time for him to retire. Don't you think he also has a point there?
I have said this severally. I align myself with people who believe that Atiku should go and rest and be the father of the nation, be the father of PDP. That is my position. Because there is no way we can present Atiku again and win any election in Nigeria. Look at it this way. Buhari spent 80 years as president. And what PDP or what majority of us were saying is that let the presidency rotate to the south. Did they allow that? What happened at the convention was more or less like another conspiracy, where Tambua stepped down, having spoken at the convention campaign that people should vote for him as the presidential candidate. He came back the second time to say that he's stepping down for Atiku when he realized that the ovation that greeted Wike's campaign was so much that he was likely to clinch that ticket. At the end of the day, he stepped down and they all connived right at the convention center to elect Atiku, and you expect Wike to keep quiet. And at the point in time, you said Wike should come and become the vice president. They lobbied him, they begged him, they did everything. He agreed reluctantly. At the end of the day, we went behind him and selected Okowa. That is not enough. It's now saying you have the presidential candidate from the north, you have the party chairman from the north, you have the campaign manager of the presidential campaign from the north. What is left for the south? Remove Ayu and let somebody from the south take the position of the chairman, so that when we get to the round table to distribute appointments, somebody will be speaking for the south. What did they do? Ayu must not go. At the end of the day, where is Ayu today? and you say Wike should not hold the party their jugular. I will only appeal to Wike, and we should continue to beg him, we should continue to appeal to him. He has been unjustly treated. And the only way out of this crisis is to appeal to him and let Atiku forget about his personal desire to become the president of Nigeria and see himself as the father of the nation, as the father of PDP, in the overall interest of Nigerians and the PDP members. Because there's no way he continues to present himself as presidential candidate that we can have peace in PDP. No, I'm not foreseeing that.
Okay, let me come back to Andrew. Andrew, Atiku's influence in the party, I'd like to know your take on it. Do you think that what the Minister of the FCT said, do you find some strength in it, where he said, you know what, we cannot present you again as a candidate in the party. It's time for you to retire. I mean, what do you make of that?
You see, as it stands right now, we are not talking about the candidates that we meant for 2027. We are not even yet 2027. What we're trying to do as a party right now is to see how we can, first of all, ratify all the congresses that have been done, you know, hold the neck, ensure that anybody, all the agreed parties, anybody having issues in crisis is being resolved, you know, following through the internal crisis mechanism resolution, ensure that like in those states where we are being cheated, the party is doing everything possible across board to ensure that we retrieve our mandate. Osun State that is coming, we are backing the governor up to ensure that Osun State is not being stolen from one. We're going to retrieve, we're going to win Osun State with the landslide victory. To ensure that Anambra, we win Anambra back to the party, to the folks. To ensure that Ekiti will reclaim Ekiti back. You know, these are the things we are doing right now as a party. You know, and as a public affairs analyst, I felt that analyzing all this process that the party is passing through, the party is taking through, the party is doing everything possible to ensure that you take this step one at a time. So the various little issues of crisis, finger crisis that seems blowing up and down is a normal thing that happens in every political party. Of course, you cannot throw Atiku away, you can't throw Wike away. There is no major political figure in this country that have not passed through PDP. PDP practically made every single political individual you see in this country today. So if there are little misunderstanding, everybody cannot think alike. Of course, the way I will think, not the way the other person will think. So it is the wisdom of the elders of the party to see how they can bring everybody together under one umbrella. All the umbrella is so big enough. So we are not even, the party is not even thinking about who will become the next president of 2027 or who will become the next. No. What the party is doing right now is we have congresses all around. Let's say we can finish all the congresses. After the congresses are being done, the various by-elections that, you know, of course, Oyo State have a by-election. The various by-election, off-cycle elections that are along the line, the party see how you can get all the off-cycle elections into their basket, into their folks, before you now start thinking of 2027. 2027 will come and naturally have its way. The party will use its own party structures to ensure that zoning takes its proper shape, primary head, and the presidential candidate emerge. So the party is not even thinking of a battle that is not yet set. What the party is thinking right now is, how do we ensure that we bring everybody on board under one umbrella? How do we ensure that everybody is under this, fighting the same cause, the same purpose? That's what the party is doing right now. So I don't think there is any issue as regards Atiku, Wike, Bala. No, if you look, of course, are you not seeing Bala Mohammed and all the National Committee and all the governors of PDP backing up every candidate that is contesting? They were in Edo, they were in Ondo. That goes to show that this party have its unification, have its unison, have its harmony. Of course, there must be misunderstanding. You can't take that part away. But what matters is, how do you manage that misunderstanding? What matters is,
I'm asking you, is it being managed?
Putting the party, which is what the party is doing.
You did ask a critical question. You said, how do you manage the misunderstanding? Has it been managed the right way?
Yeah, the way you manage misunderstanding is that whenever there is a battle to be fought, everybody that have misunderstanding, put that misunderstanding aside and come together under one umbrella to fight that battle.
Is that what we are seeing happening right now? Are they putting their misunderstandings aside to come to the table? Is that what Nigerians are saying?
Of course, As it stands right now, the party and everybody is under the same table to ensure that the Edo mandate that was stolen is being retrieved. Although election are just that they just stole the mandate from us. Look at the way all the governor, all the head of the UC, and every other person come together to ensure that Ondo, Jagede was having issue before now in Ondo State. Jagede was in their grand finale. So that goes to show that, look, everybody that might have misunderstanding, when it's time for us to fight battle, they put misunderstanding aside and fight the battle together, after which you continue your misunderstanding.
Right.
And that's the beauty of democracy.
All right.
So that's what the party is doing. So you might have misunderstanding, but when it comes to putting the party interest first, everybody comes together and put the party interest first. Misunderstanding can never finish. Everybody politics is interest. Everybody wants their interest to come first. But when it now comes to putting the party interest first, everybody put their interest aside and fight for the party's interest.
Okay, I'll come back to you, Andrew. Let me go back to Dr. Austin Maho. Now, let's look at it generically. The role of a political party like the PDP as an opposition in a democracy, Nigeria's democracy. We know that, to a very large extent, for many years, when you talk of political party, structure, now, even though we have multiple political parties, it used to be mainly the APC and the PDP. But right now, there's a major third force, which is, for many Nigerians, is gradually even replacing the slot or the space of the PDP to become the second force, which is the Labour Party. So my question to you is this. Looking at all of this crisis or misunderstanding within the leadership structure of the party, do you think it has sort of largely affected its role as a strong opposition to the ruling party? Is the PDP the same PDP, that it was 10, 16 years ago?
It's certainly not. Certainly not. The PDP is not the party it was 10 years ago or 15 years ago, before the APC came into power. And we should even ask ourselves, if we don't understand the role of the opposition in a democracy, the question we should ask ourselves is, or we should go back in history, how was it possible for the APC, as it is today, after it metamorphosized from from AD to ACN before it built the coalition that brought about APC? How was it able to seize power from the ruling party, then the PDP? It is because it was able to build consensus within the opposition, then opposition political party, the ANPP, the CPC, and of course others. Is that coalition, likeness, they have the coalition of common purpose to seize power from the ruling party that brought about the APC and kicked PDP out of power. One would have expected that PDP, having gone through that experience, having been away from the corridors of power for about a decade, should be able to put its act together and say, look, we cannot remain in this limbo, in this darkness forever. There's a need for us, even if we don't have the capacity to learn internally, we should learn from how opposition was played by the current ruling party. That's what we expect. But the PDP seems not to be able to learn as a result of the different interests within the party, which has not been able to coalesce into a common interest that propelled the party to want to put the public interest, the national interest, or the party's interest above individual interest within the party. And opposition, a major hallmark of democracy is that it should have an opposition. The role of the opposition is to present contrary views, contrary opinion to that of the ruling party. But in Nigeria today, we are not saying that. Each time an Atiku speaks, he doesn't just take note of all his statements. He doesn't speak in the name of PDP. He speaks as an Atiku. When an Obit speaks, he doesn't speak on behalf of the Labour Party. He speaks as Peter Obi. Invariably, we can say, it can be argued that, look, today in Nigeria, we don't have an opposition party that speaks as an opposition party, that airs its view, that when government comes with a policy, it should be able to counter it and say, no, if we were in power, we would have done it differently.
Could it be as a result? I'm sorry, because we need to go on a break. I'm trying to understand why.
There's so much crisis in the line. There's so much crisis in the line, but we don't have an effective opposition to give us a different view of how it could have been done and done better. So what we are having today is that the APC under the current administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu is having a free and easy ride to ride roughshod over the citizens of this country, and there's no voice to counter whatever they are doing.
Okay, you made a point.
Into totalitarianism and authoritarianism and totalitarian barbarism in the name of democracy.
All right, Dr. Austin Maho, you made a point. You made a point that many of these key figures speak as independent individuals, as against aligning themselves with the party. Could it be as a result of not just the leadership crisis alone, but the fact that many of these parties too don't resonate, properly with the general public? For instance, for many Nigerians, they would say that it's almost same of same, the PDP and the APC, or even the Labour Party. And so these candidates are saying, you know what, I don't want to be affiliated, with these parties. I just want to stand alone. I'd like you to, respond to that when we come back from this break. Many thanks for staying with us. This, of course, is still Politics HQ on News Central Television, and we are discussing the leadership crisis within the People's Democratic Party. I still have my guest with me. I'll come back to you straight, Dr. Austin Maho. Your response to the question I asked, you said that many of these notable individuals, most times even when they try to tackle the ruling party, they do it as personalities. They really do not do it as party members or being affiliated with a party. So my question to you is, why is that?
That's the million-dollar question. That is the problem. At the root of it, you find out, apart from talking about the PDP and the crisis within the PDP, the Labour Party, for instance, still has its own internal crisis. It's not as cohesive as one would have expected of an opposition party that is properly equipped to be able to play its role as an opposition party, political party. Okay. So the PDP is bedeviled by the same internal contradictions that makes it impossible for it to be cohesive enough in such a way that everyone, the leadership of the PDP, can come forward with a commonality of purpose to issue statements in the name of PDP. That is what is playing out. Because you are going to find out that all the three tendencies within the party that I referred to earlier on find it difficult to agree on the way forward for the PDP. So to that extent, you hardly see the PDP issuing a statement in the name of PDP and trying to give direction to the APC to say, look, as PDP, this policy program of government is not working. If we were in power, we would have done it better. But we don't see that happening. That is why I made reference to the APC before ACN and others, before the coalition that brought the APC to power. Do a study of the role someone like Lai Mohammed played as an opposition political party spokesperson, and how he was able to put the ruling party then, the PDP, on his toe. He was always issuing statements. He was always on the case of the PDP, whether rightly or wrongly. But the PDP lacks the ability to be able to do that. For instance, if you ask me now, who is the National Publicity Secretary of the PDP? I will tell you that I can hardly remember his name, because you can almost count the number of statements that has been issued from that office, within the last 1 month in my one arm. This is not to five that I've come across.
Okay.
When there is so many things that are happening in the country that we expect that the PDP as an opposition political party should respond to. But they totally lack the ability to be able to do that because of the internal wranglings within the party.
All right, let me leave you, Dr. Austin Maho. Let me bring in Mr. Diran into the conversation. Your final remarks on this matter, because we're pressed for time.
Yes, our today may be bad, but that is not to say that our tomorrow cannot be better. Only if all these leaders are able to realize that they have a date with history. Because whatever they do today, it will be recorded against their names. PDP is an institution. People who are trying to bring it down, people who are trying to demolish the party, we have a date with history. So this is an appeal to virtually everybody, the Governors Forum, the BOT, the NEC, even the NWC. This division cannot take off anywhere. Forgive each and every one of you. This is my parting word.
All right, let me also take that of course, Dr. Austin Maho. Your final remarks on this matter.
Of course, the PDP is trying to play effective opposition in our democracy and is failing to do that. And I believe that all contending factions within the party should be able to lay down their interest for the national interest and for the interest of our democracy and for the interest of our nation. Is the way to go. The crisis, the wrangling within the PDP cannot go on forever. It should come to an end.
All right. I believe Andrew is still there. Andrew, are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you very well.
Okay.
Okay, you need to.
I understand that. Of course, we are unable to get Andrew into the conversation. But before I let you go, gentlemen, what do you also make of the? And this, of course, my question to you, Mr. Diran. What do you make of the involvement of the likes of Seyi Makinde, who, to a very large extent, has been pretty much vocal on behalf of the party lately?
Nobody. We still appreciate the fact that we still have some people who are members of the PDP and they are still speaking. Seyi Makinde is very vocal and is able to tell Nigeria, or at least to disabuse the mind of Nigerians, that PDP should remain the only main opposition party. And he threw it back to Nigerians. You are the opposition to this bad government, simply because APC or PDP, you are not buying fuel at a cheaper rate than it is. Your economy is not better than it was, in the past. So if you are talking about opposition, PDP cannot do it alone. Individuals who are suffering under this administration should see themselves as opposition to this government. And the only way they can change their destiny is to arm themselves with their voters' card and continue to criticize them. Criticism does not lie alone with PDP. It belongs to each and every one of us. If you go on the social media, you will see too many names they are calling the president, which are not too good, which is an evidence that Nigerians are feeling the pain of the policies being thrown upon them. So we are all suffering, and that is what Seyi Makinde is saying. So if PDP is not talking, Seyi Makinde is PDP and is speaking the minds of not only PDP, but the minds of Nigerians.
All right, just before we go, let me bring in Andrew. Your final thoughts, 30 seconds.
PDP is playing opposition effectively well, and PDP is going to reclaim the seat in 2027. PDP is doing everything possible to ensure that they put the house in order, which is the first thing to be done. So if there's anybody having misunderstanding, grievances, just follow the necessary internal resolution mechanism. The party leadership is fully on ground to ensure that you accommodate every single individual. But as far as we are concerned, PDP is the next hope of the common man. PDP is the next hope of Nigerians. Nigerians are looking forward up to PDP to just come and rescue them, because the suffering going on right now is not about any political party. It's about every single Nigerian. So PDP being the last hope of the common man is the only hope that Nigerians are looking forward to. And I can assure Nigerians that, look, PDP will not disappoint them. By the time we are done with our convention, You will understand that we're going to produce the best candidate that will eventually take over the seat of the president.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time on the program. I'd like to say a big thank you to Diran Odeyemi, is the former Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party. Also, many thanks to Dr. Austin Maho, a public affairs analyst, and Enantomhen Andrew, also a public affairs analyst. Gentlemen, once again, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being on the program. All right.
Thank you for having us.
Great. In case you actually missed out, there's usually a repeat broadcast later tonight, and you can also, catch up on our YouTube platform. That's News Central TV. You can also follow us across social media with the same name. You can follow me personally at Dakpo at Digboye until I come your way tomorrow. Good night.